Okay, for your story review questions today, you should have done 25, 26, and 27. So we're going to start with number 25, and it says, the pressure in a tank was compared to standard each morning for 5 days. The table shows the data recorded. Which list shows the value in the table from least to greatest? So know that least means smallest, and the greatest means largest. So we're going to put the numbers in order from least to greatest. And what I like to do is I like to just look at the table and maybe number them off. That way it's easy to look at my answer choices and get going. So I'm looking at the table. I see both negative and positive numbers. I know that negative numbers, the larger the negative, the actually smaller it is, right? The further it is away from zero. So my smallest number on this list should be what happened on Wednesday with 1 3/10. Negative 1 3/10 is going to be smaller than the rest of these numbers. Then I'm going to go look at my other two negative numbers because I have this one on Monday and this one on Tuesday. I like to go and add zeros whenever I don't have the same amount of place value. So right here I've got negative 20 hundredths, and over here I have negative 18 hundredths. Again, furthest away from zero is smaller, so this one is going to come next. And then negative 18 hundredths would be third. And then I just have to look at my positive numbers. Positive numbers are opposite, right? The smaller ones are smaller. So this number right here, 8 hundredths, is smaller than 13 hundredths. So whenever I look at my answer choices, I can go ahead and get rid of A and B because they start with the greatest number. C and D both start with negative 1 3/10. So I've got that going first, and then my second number should be negative 2/10, which means that D cannot work. Negative 18/10, 8 hundredths, and 13 hundredths should be C. All right, let's look at number 26. Triangle XYZ has 3 measures. Angle X has a measure of 36 2/10 degrees, and angle Y has a measure of 98 degrees. What's the measure of angle Z? Finding missing angles. I know that all angles have to add up to 180. 180 degrees. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add up my two known angles because I know angle X and angle Y. And I'm going to make sure, since I'm adding, to line up my decimal points. And I'm going to add a decimal 0 just to make it look better. Then I'm going to add, bring down my decimal point. 8 plus 6 is 14. 9 plus 3 is 12, plus 1 is 13. So this right here is my known angles, right? It's not my answer, can't be A, because now I've got to take 180 and subtract 134 2/10. So I do 8, take away, and I've got to borrow. So I end up with 8. 9 minus 4 is 5. 7 minus 3 is 4. 1 minus 1 is 0. So do we have an answer choice that says 45 8/10? Yes, we do. It is B. All right, last one that we're going to do is number 27. Jonah recorded the temperature outside for 7 hours. The temperature dropped 3 degrees each hour for the first 6 hours and then rose by 2 degrees in the last hour. The expression -3 times 6 plus 2 represents the net change in temperature over 7 hours. Which value represents the net change in temperature in that time? So they wrote the equation for us, right? So they said that it dropped 3 degrees every 6 hours. And they wrote it with parentheses, but I'm going to go ahead and write it with a multiplication sign just to make sure that it's clear. And then it rose 2 degrees in that last hour. So if I'm using PEMDAS, I know that I have to do my parentheses first, or really those parentheses don't mean the math inside of them. It's showing multiplication. Multiplication comes before addition, so I'm going to do -3 times 6. If I have my little integer triangle, I can see that a negative number and a positive number should give me a negative number. So I have -18 plus 2. I know that if I'm adding numbers with different signs, I'm going to subtract and keep the sign of the larger. So I'm going to do 18 minus 2, and I got 16. And I see I have two 16s right here, B and D. but I want to do the sign of the larger number, which is 18, so it's going to be a negative 16. All three of our answers were, oh no, this one was C, but we had 2 B's this time. All right, after you watch this video, go ahead and check the Google Classroom for the rest of your instructions for the day.